I am live, it says. Hello, Joanne, good morning. Nancy, good morning. Michael, good morning. Stevie, good morning. All right, here we are. This is the last class of 2022, the last live class. Wow, that's crazy. All right, so let's make it a good one. And anything in particular that any of you would like to focus on or anything that's going on, I'd love to hear about that if you'd like to share with me. Otherwise, I will be free to create, to share what I think is really important. Hi, Pat. Low back. All right, Pat. Well, you're in good company because this is a low back company. Some of the people that are here, so you're in good company. Hi, Carolyn. My regulars, thank you so much for being with me. I started a 12 days of wellness giveaway today that every day I created something to give away. And so there's definitely yoga aspects because there's physical and there's three areas that are stressors for us. There's the musculoskeletal system that can have stress. There's the biochemical area, and then there's the mental emotional. So this 12 days of wellness hits on all of those. There's 12 days. It's either going to be something for your physical body, something for your mental body, or something for your deep internal biochemical body. So sign up, go to my homepage and sign up for that and get those links. And little neck work. All right. I love that. Don't love that you need that, but I love that you're sharing that, Michael. Thank you. All right. So I am going to go back here. So I had a conversation with someone yesterday, and we were just talking about aging and what are the ways that we could keep ourselves healthy. And we were discussing some of the activities that we have in our lives, whether we are working around the house, gardening, whatever it is we're doing, and how that can bring on discomfort and pain afterwards. And then we're discussing tightness that enters the body as we age. So when we are born, we're about 80% water. And I know for females, I'm not sure the level they say for males, but there could be only about 50% of our body that is made of water by the time we are in our later years in life. And so that's part of what contributes to that achiness, the tightness that sets into our body. And then this physical practice of yoga is our opportunity to actually move and to create more fluid. When we do stretch our tissues and our muscles, we create fluid release. We create that release in our joints. So that whole aspect of movement, motion is lotion, really comes into play, especially, I believe, as we age, or that's what I'm finding as I age. So let's focus today. So today's practice, the intention of today's practice is that word stress that is held in our body is held in the form of muscular tension. So today's practice, we're going to begin on the ground, begin by connecting our mind and body to be present moment so that anything we do in the practice, we do with total awareness so that we can stay in the safety zone and that what we're doing is appropriate for us. And your deeper intelligent self will know what that is, which is why that mind-body connection is so important. We'll do some lubricating movements, some gentle stretching on the ground without gravity and only with gravity from above here, which will help to get a little bit of postural correction, but also takes the excessive weight of gravity out of our joints so that we're able to stretch them and move them and get the fluids to secrete. So we'll go down to the ground and warm up our body. Then we'll work on strengthening our core because this, especially for those of you that have low back issues, this right here is what's balancing everything in your life, whatever you're doing all day long, even sitting or something super simple. Your low back has to manage your head, and your head is about 10 pounds. So that's a pretty sizable weight for this part of the body to manage. So we'll then go on to managing and strengthening our core to manage our body. And then we'll move into weight bearing stretching, where we add weight bearing to bring in stretching on a deeper level. And then we will be in a warmed up place when we come there. So we'll keep ourselves healthy because we'll be nice and warm and receptive for that. So that's going to be the process of the practice. So that if you find yourself wanting to do your own practice, go on the ground, close your eyes, start moving your body, start breathing, start connecting, start moving. And then the farther away from the ground you move, the more potential you bring in weight to actually start deepening stretches. So teaching you how to fish instead of giving you a fish is my goal, so that you will always do something with yoga to keep your body healthy and strong as you age, and your mind, of course. So for today's practice, we're going to need a strap and a block and a blanket. And we'll begin our practice today with a blanket. Couple of suggestions are you could put the blanket up at the top of the mat for your head if you're feeling like you need to be super gentle. This one that we're going to do is my favorite to do at home because we all have access to a blanket or a towel. And this will be a spinal support and help to stretch our chest and our shoulders. That'll release tension in the upper back, neck, chest area. It helps to release that stored tension in the upper body. And then that'll actually help support the back because it'll help to release what's being tight up here that's going to affect what shows up in our low back. Take your blanket, you're going to roll your blanket into a roll, or you can even fold it. Many, many different ways to do this, and you have to find which one is appropriate for you. So we're going to come into this. The bigger the blanket, the stronger the fold, the smaller the circumference of your fold is going to be a bigger opener. So use that to be the guide for what you need. And then let me move something I'm noticing here. Okay. From here, we're going to move on to this. So you're going to come on to your bottom, roll to the side, keep your spine nice and long as you bring yourself down onto your blanket. Eyes are open. Start to find comfort or the appropriate position for your body today, right now. Make sure your space is clear. You're going to bring your arms by the side and start to move your arms up and down. It may be a smaller range of motion at first, starting to bring in the lotion with the motion of the arms. Noticing what you notice here in your body as you do this. Be gentle. The arms are up and then the arms come down. Palms are facing up towards the sky. If you have shoulder issues, any recent rotator cuff tears or issues in your shoulder, you may not be able to move very much here, and you may have to have a smaller range of motion, or for you, maybe it'll be better to be static right now instead of dynamic. When we move our body, that's a dynamic movement, and when we hold a position, that's a static movement. So if you're able to go dynamic and move your arms, try that. Then you could close your eyes. You're going to be more aware here of your body when your eyes are closed. And then come to a statically held arm position. The higher up and farther away your hands are from your body, the deeper the stretch will be in the shoulders and the arms and the chest. Choose what feels like the right amount of stretch. Then bring your awareness to your chin. Draw your chin towards your chest so that your neck is nice and long. Close your eyes. Inhale. As you exhale, push your head down into your blanket and then start to roll your head towards one side. Go slow because there's a downward movement here, and it'll be a very deep stretch in the upper back and neck. Come back up to center. Exhale into this position.
the stretch, and then back up to center. Let the exhale be what takes you into the stretch. The inhale back up to center. And then bring yourself back to center. Lift your head up, lengthen the back of your neck, tuck your chin down towards your chest. Place your arms in a position a little higher, maybe, if your shoulder joint has started to release some of the tension. You could keep your knees bent or spread your legs, up to you. This is a supported back bend. This is a position we need more of in our body. We spend a lot of time throughout our day in a flexion position. This is called spinal extension, where it's supporting the spine so that we're stretching the front of our spine, lifting the front of the vertebra off each other, giving that front of your spine a break, which is very important for spinal health. 50% of the fractures in osteoporosis are in the front of the spine, and it happens for women and for men. So being aware of stretching the front of your spine, being aware of releasing the stress of the bones pushing into each other at the very front edge of your spine is critical for a healthy spine, for healthy aging. So find the biggest stretch you can here in the front of your spine. Push your heart up towards the sky, push your arms into the ground, push your head into your blanket. Really stretch the front of your spine. Maybe even rocking towards the tip of your tailbone to tilt your pelvis forward, stretching some of those abdominal muscles, stretching the front of your spine as deeply as you can. Take an inhale and rock towards the tip of your tailbone. As you exhale, start to push your low back towards the ground, rock towards the top edge of your pelvis, take that tension out of the low back. Inhale to rock towards the tip of your tailbone. And exhale, press the belly button to the spine, press the low back towards the ground, towards the blanket behind you. Feel the pressure in the middle part of your spine, the middle part of your torso, when you tilt your pelvis back. When you inhale to rock forward to the tailbone, feel the stretch in the front of the body, the front of the spine, the abdominal muscles. Push your heart up towards the sky as well to help disperse or to move that extension movement. So it's not all in the low back. Exhale, push the low back towards the ground, the top edge of your pelvis towards the ground. See if you feel and notice a deeper stretch in the armpit area. Inhale to the tailbone. Heart up, pressing up, active. Exhale, push the low back, tilt the pelvis backwards, posterior tilt to the top edge of your pelvis. Do you feel stretching up top? Couple more like that with awareness. Where do you feel this? Let your breath go to your belly to further the stretch in the abdominal area. And then bring your breath to your heart to really expand your upper chest. See how that could be helpful when you rock towards your tailbone to release the tension that comes into the low back. Lifting the heart, adding that extension to the thoracic spine. One more. And then bring yourself to a relaxed position. Let your head be heavy. Let your torso be heavy. Let your arms be heavy. Let your legs go straight. Noticing here where you feel the stretch. To get a little more stretch in your shoulder and neck and upper back area, try elevating the arms a little more, reaching the arms away from your body a little more, only to whatever is the okay range of motion for you. And then let your body relax. Let it be heavy. Take 3 breaths down to your belly. Take 3 breaths down to your left foot. Follow the breath in your body. Feel all the movement down to your left foot. Let your awareness go with the breath. And then 3 breaths to your right foot. Three breaths, coming in, going to the fingertips, crown of the head, and the toes. Feel yourself getting bigger and longer and taller with each breath. Mouth is closed, breathing in and out through your nose. Let it go. Letting the breath go back to your body, let it breathe itself. Become a witness and look at yourself with your eyes closed. Where is your breath when your body breathes itself? Do you feel your diaphragm moving? Does your body breathe more to the right side or to the left side? Or does it feel even? Bring your awareness to your fingers and your toes. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Then bend your knees, bend your elbows. Draw your knees in, bring your hands back down, bring your hands onto your belly. Notice what happened when you took that tension out of your shoulders and your chest. How did your body respond? And then bring yourself onto your side. You could open your eyes or keep them closed, up to you. And then when we get up, practicing getting up with awareness to not pull on our upper back and neck, which will affect the low back, which will affect the back. So let's see if you could stay in the front of your body when you get up and not in the back. And if you've already come up, come back down to do this. Let's see if we could turn on the muscles of the front of the body to push away from the floor instead of using the back of the body to pull ourselves up. We want to use these pushing muscles because that's what we need to be strong as we age. And we start to pull ourselves all over the place and we stop pushing ourselves. So let's bring ourselves forward, bring your hand forward. So you actually feel your elbow activate here. And you feel the hand, spread the hand pretty wide. And then you're going to push your hand into the ground so you feel your shoulder and chest activate. And then you start to push your elbow. Your head is looking down. Your head is almost hanging. So you're not lifting it up. Look at your hand, look at your elbow. Push your hand, push your elbow, and bring yourself up. And notice if that was a challenge for you, because the pushing muscles, we stop to use them, right? We pull ourselves up the stairs instead of pushing the way
from each foot on each step with our glutes in the back of our body. We start to pull ourselves up. When we get up from the toilet or a chair, we use momentum to rock and to pull ourselves up with momentum. So these are really important things to raise our awareness to, and then to start to notice them in our day. I think most, I don't know what percentage of the day am I in my hips when I'm bending, but I will tell you that when I get up and down from a seated position, whether that's from a chair or the toilet or a sofa or whatever it is, or when I lower down onto those surfaces, I come into my hips to make sure that I'm evenly distributed weight-wise. I come into my heels to make sure that the back of my body is working, because those little things I do every day will add up to strength in my joints and my body and to happy and to healthy aging. So raising this daily awareness to movement is super important. And when we're here in a practice of yoga, we're actually have the opportunity to not be so distracted by everything, but to be so present moment in our bodies, to really focus on the function of our joints, our muscles, and our body. That's how you're going to stay out of pain or heal what you need to heal. So let's take our blanket. Fold your blanket. And bring your blanket up to the top of the mat. So we're going to do some warm-ups with our body on the ground. You're going to need your strap and your block for this. Bringing yourself at first onto your pelvis. So feeling your pelvis moving back and forth. And then have your feet be relatively close. So they're not all the way at the mat distance. You're moving back and forth to feel your buttock bones as you go side to side. Not a very smooth movement, right? There's the sacrum, but depending on how far forward you are, it's not so smooth. If you come a little bit back more, it'll be a smoother movement across the bones of the pelvis. So feel that in your body. And then bring yourself back up. Take your legs, bring your legs pretty wide, and then start to do a little bit of movement here. Bring your awareness to your pelvis, maybe close your eyes. And feel your body weight going from not only side to side, but front to back when the legs are moving. And then push your heart up so you're not caving in your chest. Notice that requires muscular strength to support your upper body in different positions. And then bring yourself back to center. We're going to come down on the ground, so that awareness in the front of the spine, so that we do not fracture our spine later in life. Right, so closer to the 80, that big 80 is what a lot of the studies are on, like that number 80. So wherever you are in your journey of life, coming to that place, that's where all these statistics start to really blow up and be really very high statistics. So being aware now, wherever you are on your journey, on whatever numbers you have, right here in front of your spine is long. You're bringing yourself down onto the ground, all the way onto the ground, supporting your head only, not upper back area, but really the head is supported. For those of you that have issues, let's say low back issues, or not quite such a strong core, I would recommend that you fold the blanket in double. And for those of you that are working on a stronger practice or don't have those issues posturally or issues in the shoulders, the more flat you are to the ground, the more opportunity you have here to perfect posture. And you don't want to push the envelope. So for those of you that have issues in your low back, or you need that support, do it. Because what we're going to stretch and open is more important than you focusing on trying to strengthen posture right now, if that's not what you should be doing. So choose according to you and your needs with the fold of the blanket. And then bring your arms out to the side. So straight out to the side if you have shoulder issues. For those that can, moving higher with the upper arm bones, palms up towards the sky. And then bring your feet so that they're wider than your body. So that's not hip distance, that's wider than body distance. And then bring your awareness to your pelvis. Let's start to rock the pelvis down so that the low back flattens into the ground. You feel pressure behind the back of the lower ribs. And then you bring yourself forward to the tip of your tailbone.
You rock your pelvis back, so you feel your pelvis tilting back. It's called a posterior tilt, and it actually changes the shape of the lower back curve. When you go to your tailbone, that's called extension in your lumbar spine. That's the natural curve, and we're going beyond it. And when you flatten your low back, to top of the pelvis is on the ground, this is flexion in the lower lumbar. This is a place that many of you with low back issues, this is where you're going to find relief, is when you add in that flexion curve to the lower back and take out the tension. And it stretches the back of the body when we do that. So you bring your body forward, you bring your body back. You're actually mobilizing your spine, so you're secreting fluids in your spine. And when we are on the ground like this, taking the pressure of gravity away, we allow the fluids to go back into the spine that were compressed out with gravity. So you have more potential to have a moist spine here, and then you're actually mobilizing your spine. Close your eyes. Does it feel smooth on both sides? Does it feel aggravating to you to do this? So you don't really need to use too much intense muscular action here. It's more about finding this movement and letting the muscles that do it. How far you go in the forward and backward tilt is up to a lot of things. Issues in your tissues, fear, body awareness, and then bring yourself back to center. We develop a certain sense when we practice yoga called interoception, and it is that inner knowing, that inner feeling, that inner understanding of our body and how it functions, where we need to focus, where we have our issues. So close your eyes if you can, so you could feel your way through a lot of this. Take your feet to be the width of your mat. Soles of the feet are on the ground. Then start to let the knees move side to side. So focus on your knees right now, side to side, as if you had Sharpie markers on them and you were trying to draw lines on the ceiling above you. So this is not about the sides. This is about the sky and then side to side. Your femur bones are moving around in your hip joint, lubricating your hip joint. Arms are to the side, torso is stabilized. You're going to get a gentle pulling in the muscles of the back. So close your eyes and go to your back. Is this appropriate for you? See what happens if you push your belly button to your spine and you try to tilt your pelvis back so that your low back moves towards the ground when you do this. How does that feel? For those of you with low back issues, these are the kinds of things you need to learn so that you can position your body away from pain. Get out of pain. Get out of the place of tension that is stress and painful. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's start to go a little bigger. Close your eyes. How's your low back? A little bigger side to side, so maybe the soles of the feet are moving. The stretch goes higher now to the sides of the waist. What's happening to your core, to your back? Do you feel it all the way up to the lower ribs on the side of the body? Do you need to tilt your pelvis backwards so that your low back doesn't get negatively affected by this movement or too stressed? And then bring yourself back to center. Take your legs wide. This is called windshield wiper. Side to side. Your legs are off the mat. Feet are off the mat. Close your eyes. Notice where the stretch is now. There's going to be more potential for a tilting action with the pelvis, which is definitely going to be in the low back. How does it feel? Start to let one leg go in and one leg go out, and then switch. Lift the leg that went in up, let it go out, and then bring the opposite leg in. So go slow here. Lift your leg up that was in, let it go to the side. Your legs are really spread when you're doing this. You feel your adductor muscles stretch, the inner thighs. Start to let the leg go to the side. That's going to draw the other leg in. The other leg goes in. You feel a stretch in the front of the hip there, the waist as well. Slowly lift the leg up. So you're active here. You're using your muscles. Lifting that leg up. Let the other leg be passive. Let the other leg follow, follow, follow. So one leg is active, one leg is more passive. You lift the leg up slowly, let the other leg follow along on the journey. And then bring yourself back to center. Walk your feet in, draw your knees into your chest. Let your low back press into the ground. This is another relaxation position for most backs. Most people feel relaxed here, but not all. Make sure your hands are holding your legs and you're not using the muscles to hold the legs. That'll help to release attention. In 2014, when I had a hip injury and I started teaching for Torrance Memorial Hospital in Southern California to the over 50 population, there were so many issues that I had, that they had, and I had to learn as much as possible to keep us safe. So I started to study with Dr. Lauren Fishman. He's an MD, he's a physiatrist, and he raised my awareness to osteoporosis and the need for our awareness there. I've learned so much from him over the years. And one of the things I learned a lot is what we just did right now. So when we were doing our movement by lifting one leg up and making one leg be active and the other leg followed, at some point it starts to go with this leg because there's safety valves in our body. Everything is connected and this side works with that side. So at some point, the safety valve, wherever your range of motion is. So when this goes here and my range of motion in my inner thighs is this leg will start to come where this leg is going. This was the active leg. That one will start to come to keep myself safe so that there's no tearing of muscles. So really being aware of the safety valves that your body has, learning them, the more flexibility you create in your body, the more range of motion you give your body to work with. So the less likely you'll injure or tear or get your body into a place of pain. So really important to develop this interoception, inner body awareness. Let's stretch our legs because they attach to the pelvis, and tight legs can lead to a lot of issues for people. Draw the right leg in, take the strap, put the strap on the right sole of the foot. Knee is bent, and when you're bending your knee, and if you draw it towards the wall behind you, you're going to feel the pretty strong stretch in the belly of the muscle, the center of the hamstring muscles. We have about 800 muscles in our body, so we have the opportunity to stretch all of them. So anything you do is good because you're stretching something or strengthening something. Your knee is bent. Let's draw the leg towards the wall behind you as far as you could go to feel the appropriate stretch for you. If you want even more intensity, you could straighten the left leg. Come back to center. Take the strap in the right hand and move the leg back with the knee bent, different part of your hamstring muscle group. So feeling this behind the leg. And then bring yourself back to center, switch hands, left hand holds. And then you're going to draw the leg kind of diagonally, turning that right toe in towards the left and drawing that left leg over towards the left shoulder. Pay attention to your hip joint. How does that feel? Knee bent, you're pretty active in the belly of the muscle here. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's go for pelvic bone strengthening by pulling on the pelvic bone. Let's see if you can bend and unbend your leg, moving towards straight. Maybe it's straight, maybe not. Left leg is straight or bent. It's easier to bend the left leg to get more access to this. So if you're feeling a lot of tension, bend your left leg. There's no prizes given out in the practice. So we're not trying to prove anything to anyone. We're trying to do our best. Bring yourself to a straight leg position if you have that ability. Draw the leg towards the wall behind you. Feel that stretch down the back of the leg. And then bend your leg. Bend the leg if it was straight. Now we're going to go to the left side. You're going to draw the left knee in, take the strap on the left arch. This is where the folded blanket comes in really handy, especially for those of you that are tight. We're trying to stretch this muscle, so you don't want this involvement here. So if you fold this blanket here, if you have a lot of tension or tightness in your body, you'll have more access to this part of your body to stretch it. So bent knee, drawing that leg back, straighten the right leg if you want a little bit more or need a little bit more. Take one more breath. And then you're going to release. Let's take the strap in the left hand. Take the leg over to the left and then back. And I may not have done the bend and extend here. That's always a good way to enter it if you have tightness in your body. So either coming into and out of or holding that static position. And then let's bring the strap into the right hand, coming closer to center, slightly turn in with your toe, drawing that right leg or towards that right shoulder, left leg towards the right shoulder. Feeling the hamstring stretch, back of the left thigh. And back to center. We're going to move into that straight leg position. Maybe you could come in and hold it. Maybe you want to move at your practice. Do what's best for you. If you hold that straight leg and you're drawing it towards the wall behind you, you're getting the opportunity to pull on your pelvic bone, create a little bone building stimulation in your pelvis with that straight knee. Do whatever's appropriate. Take one more breath. Take the strap. Move the strap off to the side. Take one kneecap, take the other kneecap. Arms are straight, inhale, and then you're going to exhale to draw your knees straight into your chest and then straighten your arms. Knees in, feel the low back press into the ground. Arms are straight. Bring your legs onto the ground. Let's move on to the core. So let's take the block, bringing the block between your knees. If you'd like a taller fold here on the blanket, this is also an appropriate place to have that support in the upper body if you need it. That'll help to take that tension out of the low back. Take your arms out to the side wide. You're cradling your head in your hand. Walk your feet closer together so they're the block distance. And do a little bit of squeezing with the block to activate the inner thighs. Squeeze with the block, activate the inner thighs. Inhale. As you exhale, squeeze the block, tilt your pelvis backwards, flatten your low back into the ground, feel the pressure going all the way to the lower ribs, and then inhale to rock forward, releasing the block, rock your body towards your tailbone. Exhale, squeeze the block, rock towards the lower ribs. Inhale, release the tension in the block and rock to the tailbone. So a pelvic tilt in the lower body. Close your eyes. Do you feel both sides Moving the same. Are you able to get this action? And how does it feel? We're going to add lifting the upper body. So on your next exhale, squeezing, lifting, tip of the nose straight up towards the sky, elbows out towards the sides. Inhale to the tip of your tailbone, low back moves away from the ground, pelvis stays on the floor. Exhale, flatten low back, lift the nose up towards the sky. Inhale to lower. So this is warming up the core, activating the core, bringing in that flexion to the lower lumbar back, maybe releasing some tension in it. Now let's work on strengthening it isometrically in the way your body holds itself throughout the day. So bring yourself down. Feel your awareness in the center of your sacrum. Rock back and forth. Feel the sacrum, which is the center of the pelvis. You're not on your tailbone, you're in your sacrum. And when you activate your core, you activate where the legs attach to the lower ribs. You draw the pubic bone up towards the belly button. You draw the side waist inward, and the lower ribs activate gently, pushing down towards the floor to activate your core. And we'll lift our upper trunk off. We're going to get our core to manage the weight of the upper body. This is how we strengthen ourselves to stabilize throughout the day so that our core will be stronger to manage our head wherever we put it, usually forward. Try it. So let's really strengthen our back to support our head. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze the block, activate your core, lift your upper body off. Don't let your trunk move. Don't let your lower back move. Don't let your pelvis tilt. Only lift as high as you can. Inhale to lower. Exhale to rise. Inhale to lower. Exhale to rise. Tip of the nose is up towards the sky. It's not about how high you go. It's about how much you challenge your core to stabilize as you move the upper body away from the center, with gravity pushing down on you. Squeeze the block so that you activate the lower body to help the adductor muscles. One more, you're going to come up and stay. See if you can stay here for 3 breaths. And then bring yourself down. Keep your hands here. We're going to add a little rotation as we lift the upper body off the floor. See if you can keep your lower body stable. You may not move very much. So that isometric holding of the trunk, let's see if we could add a movement upward and to the side and let our trunks be supported, our low back area. So push your sacrum into the ground, activate your core. Inhale. As you exhale, squeeze the block, press the right arm into the ground, lift the upper body off, and let the left arm rotate without moving the lower body. You will not get a big movement here. Inhale to lower. Exhale to rise. Inhale to lower. Go slow. A lot of deep strengthening work. It's not a big movement here. Keep your low back stable. It's not moving at all. Your pelvis is not moving at all. You're lifting your upper chest away from the ground, and then you're turning it to the side. Notice where you feel this. Use the squeezing of your block to get your lower body to help. Deep, strong core work to support your body and back. One more each direction. Bringing yourself down. Take the block out. Draw the knees in. Noticing if your inner thighs were pretty involved in that movement. And then to take out some little lower back tension, come into what's called happy baby. Spread your legs, hold on to your back thighs, drawing the knees towards your body, knees towards the armpits. For those of you that have more flexibility, you could reach with your 2 fingers in between your first and second toe, put your thumb on your toenail. The key is that your legs are really far apart. So a lot of people try to grab their feet and their feet are together. And most of us can do that. It's the spread legs holding your toes, and many cannot do that. Yet you can hold underneath your hamstrings, which is pretty effective at stretching the low back, taking the tension out of the low back. And you get that inner thigh stretch as well. And then bring yourself down. So let's do one more aspect of stabilization for the trunk. This is good for low back health, which we all have a low back. We all need it to be healthy. So we're going to try to stabilize the pelvis, keeping the pelvis where it is here. And we're going to lift our leg up and down, trying to keep our pelvis stable. So this is going to work the deep core, trying to keep your pelvis in balance. So take your hands on your hip bones. Try this, barely lifting the legs up, right on those hip bones. See if you can feel the muscles underneath your fingers moving when you do this. Keep your pelvis stable. Low back is away from the floor. You're working with core stability. So your back muscles are working here. So you may feel that. Keep this part of you nice and stationary. So we're going to imagine that we're going to put a champagne flute, a tray of champagne flutes on your belly, filled with mineral water with muddled raspberries and mint sprigs to hydrate your body. Your cocktail, your holiday cocktail beverage. Start to go a little bit bigger, bringing yourself towards a tabletop if that's appropriate for you. Notice how that requires a little bit more muscular contraction. One of these muscles is attached to your low back. So it wants to pull the low back away from the ground. And you're like, no way. Take your hands on the ground beside you on your fingertips. See if you can use that to help. One leg and then the other. Only come as far as your knee is right above the pelvis. One more each side. What's happening to your chest? Is your heart trying to pop up and then stop? And then release that tension. We're going to add on to this a little more of a challenge. We're going to start in tabletop. So let's walk the feet closer, draw one leg up, activate your core, and then bring the other up. Ideally, you would have your legs right above your pelvis, 90 knee angle, 90 at ankle, and 90 at the knees. However, if that's too intense, you may need to bring your legs a little bit closer. Still try to maintain that neutral pelvis. So wherever you could be, arms by the side, that extra support in the head will be helpful for those of you that need that. Inhale. As you exhale, contract your core and tip your toe down slowly. Bring it back up. Slower is harder. Exhale. Slower is more advanced. One more each side. And then draw your knees in. Stay here if you'd like, rocking around side to side so the low back is getting a massage. Coming into the happy baby if that's better for you. Holding on to the hamstrings or the feet, whatever feels better. And you're gonna come onto your side. This time we're gonna do a little fancy thing for getting up for those of you that need it, or the days that you need it. We're gonna push ourselves away from the floor. So we're gonna bring our hand forward. We're gonna have our elbow forward. We're gonna use that top leg now as a piston to add a little bit of help, because depending on where you're at in your strength in your upper body, sometimes it's too much to try to slowly push away without the head helping. And so having the leg help a little bit here, maybe a little, you might need a little assistance, working towards not needing this. Let's inhale to draw the knee in. As you exhale, push the foot away, push the hand and the elbow in, and bring yourself up to seated. A little tool that I learned in my training, getting certified in yoga for osteoporosis in 2017, and Ellen Saltonstall, who wrote the book Yoga for Osteoporosis with Dr. Fishman, taught us that. So that's a nice little way to support getting up. So checking in here with how your body is, how you're feeling. Close your eyes if you can. Sit in whatever position is appropriate to check in. A lot of core work, a lot of stabilizing work for the trunk. Press your tailbone down so that in a seated position, you're adding either a neutral pelvis or that slight posterior tilt, which will help to stretch the low back. And then where is your head? If it's forward, you're giving your low back work to do. So push your head back so that it goes to a neutral. So your back doesn't have to work too hard to hold your head up. And then open your eyes. So let's take the blanket. Come onto the blanket. Clear your space. So bring yourself all the way up into a kneeling position, going side to side here. Start to move your body side to side in your pelvis. So we're stretching the pelvis here. And then come back to static. Take your hands down alongside your body. Let's stretch our upper body. So let's inhale, moving your body out, stretch your body. So here there is weight bearing. Your body is having to manage itself in space. And then we're adding bigger range of motion to the joints. So we're gonna have more stretching. And then we've got gravity. So gravity's pushing down on the arms as we stretch them. So there's more things happening when you come off the ground. Start to get a little bit bigger. Try to draw the lower ribs away from the pelvis. Let the arms go bigger and higher if you can. Point your tailbone down towards the ground. Tilt your pelvis back when you do this to help your low back. And then bring yourself forward. Inhale, let your head tilt back as well. Upper back and neck muscles have to work now. Make sure it's appropriate for you. One more. And then bring yourself back. Hands are down alongside your body. Inhale up, stretch your body. Tailbone down, ribs are pulling away from the pelvis. Exhale down. One more. And then bring yourself down. Shake your arms, shake your hands. Let's come into the neck. So push one ear straight up towards the sky, back to center, and the other ear straight up towards the sky. Imagine that you're making a straight line across the ceiling, as if you had a Sharpie marker in the tip of your head. Bring yourself back to center, rotation, only head moves side to side. So stretching the neck. And then back to center. We're going to bend the chin down to the chest, stretching the back of the neck and the upper back. We're going to lift the chin up towards the sky, stretching the front of the neck. Keep your teeth together. You could stay up here in the kneeling position, or if you can sit down, you could sit on your heels. Inhale, teeth are together. Exhale, chin to chest. Stretch the back of your neck. Elbows are underneath your shoulders. Inhale, chin up towards the sky. Teeth are together.
And then bring yourself back to center. Whenever you do anything, see how you're feeling. The head position is one of the systems of balance. So when you start to move your head around, you might start to notice things. It's really important to have a lot of freedom, meaning not too much tension and tightness and issues in the upper back and neck, because that will relate to balance. And balance, having weak balance leads to falls lead to fractures lead to poor quality of life or worse. So having this mobile area, really important for balance. That's the vestibular and visual aspects of balance, where the eyeballs are, where the head position is. So doing those stretches, that was 6 movements of the cervical spine: lateral, rotation, and flexion, extension. Those can be done anywhere, and they can be done daily. So let's bring some weight-bearing, bigger moves into your body. First, starting on all fours, setting the joints of the hips, setting the joints of the spine, of the shoulders. Palms are forward. If you need to do something for your wrists, fold up the top of your mat or have some kind of discs or something that help to minimize the bend, do that. Let's take the legs wide, take the hands forward and wide so you have a lot of space here. Bring yourself into a back bend. So tailbone points up towards the sky, crown of the head up towards the sky, tailbone up towards the sky. Inhale. As you exhale, start to let the tailbone go down. So the low back starts to flatten out. You go into that flexion, pushing the top edge of your pelvis up towards the sky. And then begin to bend your hip joint. Keep your head lifted. And as you start to go back, the weight of the pelvis is going to stretch the low back muscles. Make sure it feels appropriate for you. And then inhale to come forward. Really open your heart, open your throat. Exhale, begin with the lower body first. Posterior pelvic tilt, stretch the low back. Keep your head lifted, don't let it flop. You want to be active, strengthening your upper back and neck always. And then one more. Coming back to neutral, let's see if we could stretch our chest a little more here. Taking your hands forward, we're going to come into puppy dog. Some of you may need a block for your forehead. So if you do get a block and rest your forehead on a block, or if you're able to come down to the ground, come down to the ground. Back is long, chest is open, front spine is lengthening, and your tushy is in the air, not on your heels. This is not child's pose. Let the weight of your head go. Push your armpits towards the floor, push your heart towards the floor. Take one more breath. We're going to go into stretching the side of the body. So walk your hands over to the right. Let your body weight move back and let your head rest on your left arm. Arms are straight, no bent elbows. Then push your hips to the left. Let your head rest on your left arm and let your head weight go. Breathe to your left side. Stretch the left side. Feel it stretch. Take one more breath. Then you're going to bring yourself to the other side. So coming over to the left, arms are straight, no bent elbows. Let your head rest in your left arm and push your hips to the right this time. Feel that stretch on the right side of your body. Very strong connective tissue on the side of your body.
Point your tailbone back and down, adding a little bit of a posterior tilt. See if that changes things. Take one more breath.
Bring yourself back to center.
Push back, neutralize, realign.
Lift your head first, bring yourself up. Wow. So when we start to do this weight bearing, we start to get much deeper stretching the upper body here, using gravity to help us. And then really keeping your head active during this, because that active head, then you have the opportunity to strengthen your upper back and neck muscles, which is really important. So let's go into some deep hip stretches. So bringing your hands forward, forward, forward. Bring your pelvis forward, bending your back, lifting your head up, and then bring yourself back up. Keep your head active here. Bring yourself forward and back up. So you could stay here in this range of motion, or you could go all the way back to a child's pose if you do not have osteoporosis,
Or a puppy dog.
making sure you don't push the front of the spine into itself if you have osteoporosis. Lift your head up, stretch the belly, feel that front body stretch, feel the back body stretch. Spinal flexion and extension.
One more.
And then bring yourself up. That is going to get the juices flowing, getting things going through your body. Make sure it's appropriate for you. It's definitely a little bit more of an advanced movements. So make sure that's okay for you. Get your block. We're going to come home into lizard. So let's take the right foot forward. Bring the right foot forward a lot. And then bring your body forward. Make sure that your right ankle is either forward of or right underneath your knee. Then take your block on the floor in front of you. So you're either going to be up here, maybe you need to be here the whole time, or maybe you can bring the block down, or maybe you bring the block all the way down or off, keeping your spine long, making sure you don't come into a rounded spine. So you want that straight spine wherever you are, which is why you need the block to be where it's appropriate for you, head lifted, spine long, really stretching the heck out of that back hip flexor muscle group. One of them attaches to your lumbar spine. Use the right hand, the right heel of the hand to push into your right thigh so that you're really keeping your spine nice and safe here as you do this deep hip joint stretch. Take your right foot, walk your right foot out to the side, and then tip your right foot onto your pinky toe edge. So now you're actually, so my right foot went out to the side and I'm on my pinky toe edge and I'm stretching the inner thighs now. So letting your right foot go out to the side. Take one more breath. Bring your foot back onto the ground. Bring yourself all the way up. Let's come to the other side. Block will be very helpful here. There's a lot of stretching. Back, pelvis, core, hips. Bring your block forward. Foot is forward. Ankle is forward of the knee, and then bring your body forward. Press your heart forward. Use that hand to help bring the shoulder blade onto the back. Maybe you come down, maybe you come onto the floor, whatever's appropriate for you. One side may be different than the other, but keep your spine long. You're not going to round your spine to try to get lower. Head is lifted, body weight forward. Stretching that back leg, that back hip, the hip flexor muscles. And we're gonna bring the stretch into the inner thigh. So walk the left foot over to the side and then tilt it onto the pinky toe edge. Knee goes out to the side. Inner thigh starts to get involved on the left side here. Take one more breath. Foot back. Dismount gracefully out of a deep stretch. Come to a neutral position, either kneeling or eyes closed. Check into your body here. Notice in the moment if that was appropriate. And then open your eyes. When we start to do the weight bearing, those deeper stretches, we're pulling on our soft tissue, our joints, our ligaments, our muscles, our tendons. You got to be really careful and be very body aware so that you stay appropriate with your stretches. Take your blanket to the top of your mats. Coming down, front spine nice and long, lowering yourself down onto the ground. Get your block. Bring your block between your knees. Feet walk together. Let's take the blanket away from the back of the head. Slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Push your arms into the ground to do that. Hands are down alongside your body. Walk your feet away from your body at first. Tilt your pelvis back. Squeeze the block. Exhale. And then inhale. Peel your spine up. Lift your spine away to about your heart, and then exhale to place the spine back down on the ground. Gentle recalibrating, reorganizing your spine. We just did asymmetrical stretching, one side then the other. Let's put everything back in place. Come back to center. Walk your feet back. Tilt your chin towards your chest. Long neck, exhale, squeeze the block, push your back towards the ground and inhale to peel your spine up. Lift a little higher, all the way up to the upper back if you can, and then bring yourself down. Dynamic movement in your spine, squeezing the block, pushing your feet into the floor, pushing your hands into the floor as well, so you support the upper body. Activating those upper back muscles to protect you. One more, come up, stay up for 3 breaths. Really push your arms into the ground and your feet, squeeze your block. And then bring yourself down. Block off to the side, blanket back behind your head, knees into your chest. Staying happy, strong, and healthy, mobile, limber. That's the goal. Let your head go side to side. Take any tension out of the head. Let's allow everything that was done in today's practice to seep into your body, become a new memory of space, of fluidity, of strength. Coming into Shavasana of your choice, letting go. Connect to your breath. Stay here in this moment.
Ninamaya Kame, Gobinde Mukande, Udare Abare, Kariyam Kariyam, Ninamaya Kame, Gobinde Mukande, Udare Abare, Kariyam Kariyam, Niname Kame, Govinde Mukande, Udare Pare, Hariyam Kariyam, Niname Kame, Govinde Mukande, Udare Pare, Hariyam Kariyam, Niname Kame, Gobinde Mukande, Udare Pare, Hariyam Kariyam, Niname Kame, Govinde Mukande, Udare Pare, Hariyam Kariyam, Niname Kame, Govinde Mukande, Udare Pare, Hariyam Kariyam, Niname Kame.
Begin to deepen your breath. Let your awareness go up and down your body. Go to the areas that you may have issues, or go to your core, your low back, your legs, your neck, noticing. Bring your awareness to your fingers and toes. Start to move your body. Slowly moving so that you bend your knees and draw your knees into your chest. Pay attention to your pelvis. What happens to it as you move? How does it feel? Where do you move into relief? Coming onto your side. From here, pushing away from the ground, let your head go along for the ride. Coming up to a seated position. Rubbing your hands, bring your hands together, rubbing them, and then place the hands right by the heart. Push the heart strongly towards the hands and the hands strongly towards the heart. We'll close with sound, vibrating, settling. Exhale. Inhale. Closing the practice, bowing and thanking whatever it is you bow to and thank.
So it's important to pay attention to your body always throughout your day, noticing the movements. It's a system of levers and pulleys. It needs moisture to move. And the way we sit and move and think and what we do throughout our day slowly but surely adds up to a form that is us. And if we find ourselves in pain or tension, then the form is not in the healthy, happy place. So we need to find out, raise our awareness to how do we stack our joints, find that form during the day that is happy, healthy, functional. And that will also lead to less degeneration internally in your joints as you age. The better your alignment is, the less wear and tear happens in your joints. So practice yoga, closing your eyes, moving your body, either with me live or my recorded classes, or you on the ground, moving your body, feeling your way into what feels good. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me. Have an amazing holiday season. I'm grateful for you. I will see you in 2023 so we can keep on our path of happy and healthy. I'm taking a group to Scotland, May 2023. If you want more information, reach out to me. It will be a wellness journey where we'll practice yoga and see the beautiful country of Scotland. All right. I think that was a perfect way to end 2022. Pat, hope your back feels good. Nancy, I hope that was appropriate for you. Yes. Joanne, thank you. I hope that was great for you as well. Great. Thank you, Michael. Have a lovely holiday season, everyone. Stay happy and healthy. And I will see you in 2023. All right. Thank you for being here.